partner on this event. So hello, fellow human beings, finding our way through these difficult times. My name is Roz Adams, and I'm here with two hats on. As Frances has said, one is my job as project development worker at Bridging the Gap. The other is as a trainer of nonviolent communication. So Bridging the Gap's a charity that's based in the Gorbals in Glasgow, which has been building connections between people of different faiths and cultures for 22 years, through groups, through activities and events. And two of our volunteers, as Frances has said, Huda and Catherine, will speak after me and explain a whole lot more about that. And as a trainer of nonviolent communication, I follow the work of someone called Dr. Marshall Rosenberg, who brought together a set of skills and principles which are designed to help people to stay connected to their own and each other's humanity, even when we're in conflict or even when we come from really different perspectives. So I use the two of those together all the time. So connection and feminism are two of my favorite topics, and also two of my biggest challenges. And I could talk for absolutely hours on this subject. So 10 minutes is going to be quite a tough call for me. I believe connection's more important and more critical than ever at the moment, as the First Minister said, and Maureen said. With COVID, we meet more online than in person. And with social media that encourages us to be ever more polarized in our thinking. We just need to look at the American elections for that. And with a world where those people with more power are making decisions that are very far removed from their impact on our planet. So there's this disconnect between where the decisions are being made and the impact of them. Our systems and structures and our busy lives disconnect us from ourselves, each other, and our planet. And here's the thing, we can't force connection to happen. We can't make people like each other or understand each other or be curious about each other. So our challenge, I think, is to create the conditions where connection is most likely to happen. And so I'm going to talk about what can support this. So for me, connection requires developing new habits. And the first of these is slowing down. So I'm going to dive straight in and invite you to do something. So I'm going to invite you right now to close your eyes and arrive fully in this space, in this moment. So whatever your busy lives you've come from, whatever thoughts are running around in your mind, and whatever places of comfort or discomfort in your body, I'm going to invite you just to notice them for a minute and let them be there. Take some deep breaths in and out, and I'll let you know when a minute's up. So just when you're ready to close your eyes, sit back and just arrive, really just arrive in the space. And when you're ready, I think that's about a minute, just to open your eyes again and arrive back and notice us in our shared space that we're creating. Can you hear me? It's okay? So it's a second tool I've learned from nonviolent communication to support connection across differences is a needs-based way of looking at the world. This idea that we all need the same things to thrive, to live a full life, and that those needs that we share are what motivates all of our behavior. Now, I'm not talking about the things that we say we need, like a big TV or new clothes or a handsome partner. We don't all need those things. I'm talking about the physical needs like food, shelter, warmth, rest, space, and the deeper needs like belonging, safety, to contribute to the world, to have peace of mind, self-worth, acceptance, and many more. People hear a different quality in those words because they are universal. We all share them. So when I can see that a teenager, for example, painting graffiti is motivated by wanting to belong to a friendship group, that need for belonging I can relate to, even when I don't like the graffiti. And when someone shouts at me for walking too close without a mask on, I can hear their need for safety and consideration, and I can relate to that, even though I'd much prefer they reminded me gently or understood that I'm distracted by other things in my head and that I meant them no harm. So by listening to the needs for belonging, safety, consideration, that helps me see them as human beings and not as enemies. Using a needs-based approach and slowing down helps me to create the conditions for connection in 3 areas. One is connection to my best self. For many people, that could be your soul or your connection to God. The second is connection to other people, especially those who are different to us. And the third is connection more widely to society and to the planet that we share. So when I'm connecting to myself, when I'm feeling confused or upset, I take time to ask myself, what is it that I need? If I find myself shouting at my kids, I might need support or space. If I find myself feeling guilty or ashamed for something I've done, I might need understanding and the opportunity to make amends. For many women, including myself, this is harder than it sounds. Most of us are trained by our cultures and faiths to look after everyone else first, that our needs don't matter, that caring for others means sacrificing ourselves. If that's something you struggle with, I challenge you to work out what you need in every moment and ask for what you want. I believe that if we want to build bridges of connection, we need first to be connected to our best selves so that we can act with integrity and with open hearts. Connecting with others can be scary too, and even harder online. Again, I want to invite you to take a risk with a connection experiment on Zoom. So in a moment, I'm going to ask you to choose one face that you can see that you don't know and just look at them for 30 seconds. On Zoom, we have no idea who's looking at who. So I'm inviting you to look into their eyes, enjoy the details of their face, imagine their lives, make no judgments, just curiosity about who they are and what life's like for them. And of course, this is a choice. So if it's really uncomfortable, you have the choice to switch your video off. So please turn off your video if you prefer to, and everyone else, choose someone remaining to look at. And I'll tell you when 30 seconds is up. So you can switch your videos back on if you'd like to, if you had them off. I hope that you felt even a bit closer to look to that person, having spent a bit of time considering their life. So at Bridging the Gap, so much of our work is about creating connections, conditions for people to connect across differences. It's my favorite part of the job when people who might never have usually met find some common humanity. Firstly, we meet the universal human needs of warmth, food, shelter, and safety and community. We give a warm welcome to everyone and good listening when people need it. And then we facilitate shared activity and give people an opportunity to contribute, even when they don't share the same language. So people cook together and share recipes and skills. People make costumes and decorations for events together. We've done bread making, egg blowing, gold panning, nature walks, Black History Month games, singing and dancing, to name but a few. When people can contribute their skills and expertise, they get seen and valued and appreciated and become more connected to the community. Another key tool at Bridging the Gap is setting up dialogue with questions which invite people's stories and invite them to speak from the heart. One example is at our annual storytelling weekend, where we bring people together from different backgrounds away together to share and make stories. One session we do with the adults is called Perfect Song, Perfect Day. Each person shares a tune that they love and talks about why they love it, and then describes their perfect day. Every time we do this, we're moved to tears because we hear what really matters to people and how so many of those things, even though we come from such different backgrounds, such different places, that we have in common. Another example is on our English language practice Zoom group, which we, as I say, is on Zoom at the moment. The question we recently asked was, if you could have a superpower, what would it be? And how would you use it to help others? The answers were amazing. A young man who wants to be a paramedic wanted time travel so he could go get to incidents more quickly and save more lives. Another wanted to be able to bring loved ones back for people who'd lost them too soon. Another wanted to be able to help people with whatever they needed to live in full and happy lives. And so it went on. I can still feel how I felt on that call. Connections were created without people needing to share harrowing details of their lives by just being invited to a simple question. At Bridging the Gap, we've also had workshops exploring directly cultural and religious traditions. For example, how weddings or funerals are marked and what's considered polite or impolite. Again, we don't measure if one is better than another or suggest that anyone is right or wrong, but we use this language of universal human needs. What do these practices give us? We also link people's experience to a bigger picture, that third strand of connection I was talking about, connection to global issues and to the planet. We run a series of workshops in schools called Understanding Each Other, where young people trace their own histories of migration using stories and maps, and then they interview people who've migrated about their experiences. We've done workshops where people are given a scenario where they put themselves in the shoes of someone seeking asylum and they go through the asylum process with a series of cards. All of these activities and having a universal human needs-based approach are how we create the conditions for connection to happen at Bridging the Gap. So in the breakout rooms, I'm going to invite you to explore what the barriers are and what you might do differently as a woman within your faith community or life philosophy to create the conditions for connection to happen in those three areas. Connecting to your best self, connecting to others of different faiths or cultures, or connecting to the planet. So thank you very much for listening. That's my 10 minutes. I love sharing these ideas, and please contact me if you'd like to have a conversation about anything that I've covered. Thank you.
Thank you